what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides, and I'm back here at Genesis of Newport Richey, also Honda and Newport Richey. We're back because just like I promised, just like I proclaimed, they got this fresh off the truck and we're bringing it to you. This is the all-new 2019 Genesis G70. Now, before you say, hold on a second, did we already see this car? Guess what? The one you've seen already, that was the 2-liter turbo. This is the one you've been waiting for. This is the sport level trim. Underneath the hood is a 3.3-liter V6 twin turbocharged rear wheel drive with Brembos. This is that car to go up against not only the BMW 3 Series, but that M3. Let's go ahead and dive deep within this all new G70. I love off the bat what they're doing with the front end styling. I think it was very smart the way they went with not too slim of a headlight housing, but very distinctive inside. And Genesis is really bringing an upscale feel to the whole lineup across the board, from the 70 to the 80 and all the way up to the G90. I like the very small use of some gloss black, nothing too crazy. It's a functional side vent to help with aerodynamics. You got really nice bright white LED marker light, fog lights down here. And then as you transition across the front, beautiful 6-point grille. And when I say 6-point, 1, 2, 3, and then you got 3 on the other side, there's your 6. I love the design. I love this black chrome finish to it. Looks very tasteful, very German-esque. Because remember, at the end of the day, this is going up against the C-Class Mercedes-Benz. This is going up against that A4 class and A3 class of Audi. And then, of course, BMW with the 3 Series. This sits on the same architecture as the Stinger, but guess what? It's a little bit shorter. That's what's amazing about this, to make it not just be a copycat of the Kia Stinger, but very nicely done with the lower lip spoiler just a little bit here built into the front fascia. I'm loving and I'm not loving the front grille to the point where I feel like this black piece that's plastic that's hiding all the laser and radar for the adaptive cruise control, it's a little large, and it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. But other than that, they did a just bang 'em up job on the front of this car. Love the Genesis logo, love the branding. And then another thing that I really am digging that they did to the styling is the hood. You watch this crease, it goes very slightly all the way around on both sides. And what's really wild is that when you're sitting behind the wheel of a G70, you can actually see that raised portion of the hood, which is really great. Let's wrap it around the side, because here's where the magic just keeps continuing. Look at these wheels. Wonderful style wheel. This is sitting on Michelin Pilot Sport tires. I like the simplicity of the wheel. Opens up that whole area and just let you see, yes, Brembo brake calipers. So Hyundai with Genesis, that whole brand connection, they're bringing all the top scale parts and bits, because remember, at the end of the day, they brought over the main executive designer, engineer of the whole BMW M division. But just such a very tasteful wheel. I love the design, I love the style, and I think that they just knocked out of the park. If I'm gonna zonk it, all right, maybe I would like to see an optional wheel, sort of like on that 2-liter turbo that had a little bit more design to it, but for simplicity and working with the gray, it just pops perfectly with the red. Very well done. You have a functional side vent here. This isn't just show, there is go, so it's all about channeling that air. There's that black chrome to tie it in with the front. And then as we go down the side, black chrome brought to the side mirrors. I like the LED turn signals. And I really like what they do when they black out the section of the roof where the sunroof is. So you have a very nice size sunroof. It's, I don't want to call it panoramic, it's more like a sunroof and a half. But I like the way they blacked out the roof. Very tasteful, very muscular lines. This car, the way it sits, it reminds me of like a tiger or like a cheetah, just ready to pounce and just go. That's what I love about it. And that is really, I think, perfect for the Genesis lineup, to have this sports sedan to bring to the masses. And then as we come around, you can see just a nice flaring of the rear fender, wraps around very tastefully. That's how you know you got the magic underneath the hood. 3.3-liter V6 twin turbocharged. As we drop down, There's more of that black chrome finish. You have some venting here, and then dual exhaust on both sides. I like it. I think it was smart to go with that design because it's not your run-of-the-mill vacuum cleaner look. Maybe if it did have quad tips, I'd probably give it 2 thumbs up, but I'm really digging the overall just cohesiveness of the back. There's that Genesis logo, G70. Let's go ahead and see the magic underneath the hood. All right, guys, let's see what Genesis is bringing to the table with the G70. This being that sport trim, that's that 3.3 liter V6 twin turbocharged engine. Let me give you some numbers because I know at this level of the game you want some numbers. You're looking at 365 horsepower. This thing goes 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, quarter mile in about 13.1 seconds. It's directed by that 8-speed automatic transmission. It weighs in around 3,800 pounds and some change. And if you're wondering about MPGs at the end of the day, you're gonna get 18 in the city and 26 on the highway. What's really wonderful about this particular one is that it is rear-wheel drive. You can get an all-wheel drive option. And what makes it even better from a performance standpoint is that you have an LSD. No, we're not talking about hallucinogens in the 1960s. We're talking about a limited slip differential that's going to transmit the power from the engine to those rear wheels and get the traction down every single time. I like the way they used the hood struts. Very smart move, no hood props. I wish they would have embossed the Genesis logo or name underneath the hood. I think that would have been just an extra, just a little bit of taste to when you pop the hood. Very simplistic engine cover. They want to let you know loud and proud that it is a turbo. That script, it kind of reminds me of the 1980s, but hey, that's what you got, a twin turbo V6. And I like the way they went with this brushed silver on the bracing on the front end to stiffen this up. Because remember, not only is this thing going to go quick on a straight line, it's also meant to handle the turns very well. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Guys, here we are, pretty amazing. Even though I was just in not too long ago the G70 with the 2-liter, there's some extra stuff going on here. It's not just the performance underneath the hood, but they've done some nice things on the interior. Let's check out the door panels. I love, love, love that diamond pleating in the leather. Nice soft leather on the armrest. I love the white contrast stitching. So brilliant, so upscale. The silver, they hit that right, the nail right on the head. It helps break up the sea of black on the door panel. As we transition in, same story. Very nice soft materials. The light color contrast stitching, the silver that goes from the door panel onto the dash here. Nicely done. They bring that leather material into the center console. You know what? I'm not zonking too bad the iPad style infotainment system. It's very easy to use. The graphics are very clear. You could swipe very easily, go back home. You have your AC controls up there, but watch this. Here's the magic. You got your drive mode. So if I go into sport, it lights up red. You see the inner workings of the car there. If you want comfort, it's purple. Don't ask me why they use purple, but it's purple. But you get to see what's underneath there. And it's just nice to not only see it here, but we'll show you in a second. It also lights up on the LED digital display right in front of you. Everything is upscale feel. I love the texture. I wish, though, that they would have brought some contrast stitching somehow in this area. It's a little black and dark, but I like the door here. That's what I always like to see. A nice door to hide that area. You got wireless charging. You got USB. You got a 12-volt. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, very clean, very smooth, very German-esque. It looks, if I kind of just close my eyes a little bit, not all the way, I feel like I'm in a Mercedes-Benz or an Audi. It's that good. Push button start, little bit of gloss black, not too much. I know many of you are very happy they didn't go with gloss black down here, all those fingerprints. You got the brushed aluminum. Here's what's going to be controlling that 8-speed automatic transmission. electric e-brake, even the touches here, like I showed before, how they have that nice trim that goes around the cup holders. You have a very flat, it is hard. If you're thinking about resting your head on this armrest after a day, which you shouldn't because that's why they call it an armrest, not a headrest, it is very, very hard, but it's leather. And then when you open it up, it's got a pretty good amount of space with a USB. Here's another nice touch, Alcantara suede material all through the headliner. Perfect placement of the sunroof. Like I said, it's not a panoramic, but the way that they have it positioned, the people up front and the people in the back are going to be able to enjoy life and get a little sunlight. These seats feel even better than they did in the 2-liter turbo. I love all the extra touches, that pleated diamond material, the contrast stitching, and what's awesome for me being a 6-foot tall guy with long legs, the seats come out real far on the bottom and they almost nestle perfectly right where your leg bends, and I'm really digging that. Of course, you're going to get full electric assist on the seats. You can move them every which way. And what's also a nice touch when you're moving the seats is, I'm going to have Tom show on the center display again, is when you move it, it actually shows you on the screen what you're doing. So that's obviously the back. There's the bottom. I can move it every which way from Sunday. Let's go ahead. Why don't you come over to the business end where all the magic's going to be happening when we take this for a spin. Come on over. All right, guys, here we are, the business end behind the all-new 2019 Genesis G70. I really love it. Check out the pedals. It's just the simple touches. It's wonderful to have a nice large dead pedal, and I like the way they have the brushed aluminum on the dead pedal, on the brake, and the gas pedal. That is covered up when they ship it. I promise you there's brushed aluminum underneath there. The next greatest part is going to be the wheel. I love the shape. I love the size. It's nice to see not everybody going flat bottom. Kind of just makes it a little different. Very, very good looking Genesis logo there. A little bit of silver. And then you're going to have 2 paddles, not too large, not too small, on both sides to go up and down that 8-speed automatic transmission. And then I really like the gauge layout. I think it was smart to keep it analog tach, analog speedometer. It's backlit LED lighting. I think that looks really sexy. When you get on that gas, you can see that needle for the tachometer. And then you have that info section in the center. Watch when I go into my different modes. So I'm in Eco. If you want to hug a tree, you can in the G70. If you want a little bit more comfort, check that out. And then, of course, you know and I know we're going to be doing the drive and sport. There's your sport. You can also go custom and change a bunch of different settings. So this car, the manual, the owner's manual is like as thick as the Bible, and you could change up everything in here from welcoming sounds to what's showing on the displays and everything else. Let's go ahead and I want to show you the back seat again in the G70. All right, guys, back seat time of the G70. Like I said before in my other G70 review with the 2-liter turbo, the leather and everything is just so nice to touch. There is a lot of black back here, which makes it a little dark, but you know what? It feels good sitting back here. Now, just so you know, the way that this one's programmed right now is when you shut off the car, the seat comes all the way back. So that's why, if you're wondering, oh my God, is that how much leg room you're gonna have if you're a tall person? You're gonna have more. Hopefully, whoever is driving you around will move the seat forward. If they don't, slip them a 20 or a 50 and see if they'll move the seat forward for you. But I really like how comfortable it is. You have rear AC vents. I guess my only gripe in my zonk is gonna be there's just one USB jack back here. I would like to see 2 USBs and another zonk, which I'm going to keep zonking it until the end of time, is this hard plastic with this weird cargo net pouch. It looks cheap. It really does, especially when you have this wonderful leather that wraps the rest of the wheel. Speaking of leather, you want to pull down the armrest. Nice, soft touch. And then look, on the cup holders, same exact finish. Really like the way they thought that through. If only they could do that with finishing off the seat. Headroom. I actually feel really great back here. Plenty of headroom for a person 6 feet tall. Remember, this is a mid-sized sports sedan, so this isn't something that you're going to have tons of headroom, but I don't feel claustrophobic. I feel really comfortable. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the MSRP between the one that you showed and this one? This one has an MSRP exactly the way you see it, $50,000. That's $9,000 more than the previous one. But like I said, it's not just an engine thing. There's a lot of other bits and pieces going on. Let's take a look at the last bit of the puzzle, the trunk. All right, guys, time to check out the back of the G70. Probably one of the most important parts for people, especially if you have families, that trunk section. You open it up, obviously everything's keyless entry. I love how open the trunk area is. It's actually quite deep considering the style of vehicle it is. Those seats will do a 60-40 split, just like in many of the other Genesis products and Hyundai products. Just really like how clean the back end is. If I'm gonna zonk it, I would like to see this rear tailgate area in the trunk finished in some type of aluminum. That way when you're bringing things in and out, it's because over time this is gonna get scraped to hell. But with a little bit of aluminum, I think that would go a long way. I do like the way they took some nice vinyl, clear vinyl to protect the bumper from getting scraped, but not a very high trunk to have to get into. Very nicely done. Looks very solid when you close it. And if you're ready, I'm ready for the most important part. Let's go ahead and take this one for a spin. Leaving Genesis and Newport Richie, we're in the 2019 G70. I'm gonna shut up. Wow, this thing has some pep to it. I love the way the gearbox, that 8-speed automatic, just dropped down, transmitted the power nicely. Another great feature in this model is I love the heads-up display. I can see the speedometer right there in front of me, above the hood. Nicely done. I also like in the LED digital readout, I like the way it's telling me my oil temp, it's telling me turbo boost, and other features as well and functions. So that's great that Genesis thought about these things because they know that's what people want to see and to experience while they're driving. But just very nicely, the way the power is transmitted. Just like I said earlier, seating position is so comfortable in here. I got plenty of headroom, even though I'm 6 feet tall. And just everywhere you look, it feels luxurious. It feels upscale. I love the AC controls, easy to understand. If I'm gonna zonk them, I would like to have a little bit nicer feel when you turn the different functions of the knobs and whatnot. The reason why is that if you compare this to like a Lexus or any of the German brands, you're gonna get that nicer feel. It's just that's what we're looking at. You know, we're at a situation now where all those fine details, they all add up to the big picture. Another thing that I quite don't understand that Genesis is still using is a mirror with a frame. This should be frameless. It should be nice, slim, and trim, and out of the way to where I don't even notice that it's there. So it is a little bulky. Love the steering wheel. They really hit the nail perfect with the steering wheel and even the paddles. This 8-speed shifts pretty good. I don't know how many people would actually use the paddles to go up and down the gears, but they're a great size, and I like the way they're not too far out to where you're accidentally gonna hit them if you were to use them or whatnot. But visibility is great, and I'm telling you, the difference between the 2-liter turbo and this V6 twin turbo is a huge night and day difference. I'm really digging the extra power that this car has to offer. Especially, it's great not to be driving a front-wheel drive car. So many other sedans, mid-size sedans, are front-wheel drive cars. It's nice to have a rear-wheel drive option. Even though I'm in sport, steering sensitivity feels great. I like there's a extra weight to the steering wheel when you have it in sport mode, and it feels really nice. Throttle, it is a little extra sensitive, but nothing too touchy. And like I was mentioning earlier, looking out over the hood, it's cool to see those bulges on both sides of the hood from that shape that they've you know, put into that hood. Really just gives it extra character and extra appeal. But just like I was saying, with the controls, very easy to understand. You got heated seats, you got AC, ventilated seats. So you can fine tune this car exactly to whatever the climate controls are. Another thing that I forgot to mention that I'll mention now is the thumb controls. I love the thumb wheels when you're going through the different features on the gas. 0 to 60, like I said, about 4.3 seconds. So this thing gets up and boogies. And I'm really digging that part. I just wish there was a little bit more sound. Just a little bit more sound. But I love the weight of the steering wheel. And like I was telling you, to go through the different functions of that digital display in front of you, very easy to do with the thumb throttle. This thing has a lap timer. So if you want to clock how fast you can go down your favorite road, this will do it for you. That's what I'm talking about. That's why, being a car enthusiast, a car lover, it's great to see features like that, especially even in this type of car. It just helps add that extra spice. I love the way the 19-inch wheels ride. Now, I know sometimes when we go a little larger diameter wheel and you go with a little bit more aggressive tire, like those Michelin Pilot Super Sports, you might expect the ride to be a little bit more rough. Guess what? It still rides really great, and I can't wait to go down a little twisty road here to check out the Brembo brakes and just see what the feedback is. You know, how is the car communicating with you as the driver? All right, guys, we're driving down this 2-lane road just to give you a little taste of bumps and you know, some uneven pavement. Very smooth, very quiet. Overall, I'm very, very impressed with this G70 Sport. MSRP $50,000, but like I said, go see Bill at Genesis of Newport Richie. They're really working magic when it comes to these different Genesis models, especially the new G70. But I'm going to be quiet here and just show you how it handles through these twisty bits. Great feel from the front end of the car, from the back end of the car. I could really understand the car is communicating to me equally from the front tires and also those rear tires. I kept it in automatic mode just to show you, even though this isn't a DCT, I know Tom was upset about that, but even though this isn't a DCT, it still shifts very, very well considering what it is. And I was able to really just focus on hitting my marks and getting through the turn very comfortably. The car does not have a lot of body roll to it, because remember, with this car comes with a totally different suspension setup than the 2-liter turbo, but still just so wonderful to drive. It's a really fun car to drive. But I like the feedback, and that's something that they're getting from the people that they brought over from BMW and the M division, is that whole feedback. Because remember, you can have all the power in the world, if you're not feeling good about using it, what good is it? All right, guys, we're gonna now use the paddles. Nice quick shifts on the brakes. Second gear. Nice, out of the corner. I like how quick the shifts are, but I do wish that this was a DCT gearbox. All right, guys, I just wanted to show you the acceleration from a dead stop. I'm in first gear. I'm gonna slightly roll on, power down. Pulls very nicely, using the paddles. 5th, 4th, 3rd. Great feel from the brakes. Turning is very nice. Out of the corner. slip differential doing the business back there, getting the power down for you. The Brembos are doing their business up front. It's feeling good. Fun car to drive, especially if you need a sport sedan in your life. This really will check off the boxes for you. Just smooth. It's just so smooth, the power delivery. Brakes feel great, great feedback. Nicely done. I'm telling you, the engineers there, unbelievable. Engineers at Genesis. And the brake pedal has a great feel to it. It doesn't fade. Nice. Really loving this Genesis G70. I think that this is a great alternative, especially for people who, it's not about name badges, you know? It's like so many people have owned BMWs, have owned Audis and Mercedes. Over the years, some of them, those models within those brands have lost the connection between the driver and the road, and where it's actually like fun and enticing to drive. It's nice to see Genesis taking that fun factor and bringing it back behind the wheel of a car to where you feel connected with it as you're going about your business, whether you're going down your favorite twisty road, or you're just taking the kids to school, or taking the girlfriend or wife or whoever out to dinner. That's the wonderful thing about this car. And it's just so smooth at the end of the day. You could go ahead, I'll put it back into comfort mode, and you just cruise. But like I said, MSRP $50,000. Definitely go down and see Bill Parenti of Genesis of Newport Richey. I'm just so excited to bring all these different brands to Raiti's Rides and to all of you. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, and I'll see you back at Genesis of Newport Richey in a few seconds. All right, guys, it's been an exciting day here at Genesis of Newport Richey. Definitely got to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Bill Parenti and everybody here opening up the doors. Remember, this is also Hyundai of Newport Richey. Both are connected at this one location. If these are the types of cars you like to see on Raiti's Rides, leave a comment in that comment section. If you are new to the channel and you're just stopping by, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family and just being on this awesome journey. If you haven't checked out my other forms of social media, go ahead and follow all those. It's all Raiti's Rides original content all the time. If you're looking for some merch, click the link in the description, takes you right to Spreadshirt. And then finally, we can't forget the man of the hour. He actually stopped his workout routine to meet me up here at Genesis in Newport Richey. Tom Mosher, Big Guns McGee, working the camera, getting this G70 and bringing it to you. Thank you, Tom. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.